As was mentioned, we're glad to have Tim Brumfield with us tonight and his wife Janet and son Jesse. Jesse was a member here 10 years ago, 12, 15, something like that. Something like that. Granddaughter? CC, okay. We're glad to have them here tonight. I guess our association with Tim maybe started when Maria Svensson was here from Iceland. What was that, 15, 20 years ago? He was here going to Sunset, and there's a long story there, but Tim was instrumental in helping them, assisting them, getting them here to church, and really, he's been a blessing to me personally when I have a question about missions globally or in Africa or wherever that might be close to him. I give him a call, and he's got his ear to the ground on what's going on in missions near his work, but also probably all over the world. He, as was mentioned, has done work in Brazil, also in most recently in Mozambique, and you said Angola. And so if you ever get a chance to visit a foreign country, go and do that. Be part of a mission trip. But if you can't do that, the next best thing is to hear a good report about it. And so we were very grateful to be partnered with you in this good ministry. So please share with us, brother.
It's so good to be here. This is a family, a lot for me. We love our family. We love the church family here, and y'all have been a part of our life for a long time. And we also I brought a man named Isaiah Jackson here a few years ago. And praise God for your support of him and his work there. The work there continues to grow well, and praise God for that. Also, wanted to remind you of my family. I brought a few of them. There's Jesse on the far right, and Courtney, his wife. There's Cece or Cecilia, and I'm holding their baby. I'm Big Timmy, and he's Little Timmy. There's my wife Janet, and she's here as well tonight. And back on the far left of the picture is a dog. But besides the dog, there's our daughter Melissa. They live in Sweetwater, Texas, and Brian beside her, and three of our grandkids, Audrey, Evelyn, and the real tall one in the back is Josiah. And we're so glad to have them in our life. We came here to say thank you so much for your support, for your care and kindness, for your prayers. You just don't know how powerful your prayers are for us. It is so encouraging, and all I can do is guarantee it is very effective in our work. Very important in our work. I can do very few things, but God can make very few things with simple people and make good things happen. And so we thank God for you and for your care and kindness for us. I do want to give a brief summary of our work. I work as an international representative for World Bible School in the Portuguese language. And so my main work is in Portuguese. I speak and type Portuguese all day long, every day, pretty much. And the second part is at Sunset, I operate a school. I don't really operate a school. I send the money. That's all I do. But the SIBI has many extension schools internationally, our international studies, and I operate the school called Online Bible Institute in Portuguese. We teach all over the world in Portuguese, and it's going so well. And God makes all of this work together with WBS, evangelizing people, and with Sunset training more deeply all of these people. And you'd be surprised how anxious these Mozambicans and Angolans and Brazilians want to learn deeply. Wow, I wish I could tell you a whole lot more. It's very restricted, and so I'm going to just try and tell you what's going on this year so far. There's no way I could tell you what all happened last year and this year, but anyway, I take generally 3 mission trips, 1 month long each time I go, somewhere around a month, sometimes a few days more. I used to go for 6 weeks at a time, and my wife asked me to quit that. And so I did. And I'm getting older and more anxious to get back home. So, but it's been such a blessing. I go to Brazil generally in January or in April because of big nationwide meetings of the Brotherhood. And so it's a great opportunity for me to be there and encourage them. I also go to Angola. I'm about to leave August the 12th and get back September the 15th, I believe it is. And so I also go to Mozambique, and that has been in October in recent years. And so I plan to go to Mozambique the end of this year. As was mentioned, most of my work is now in Mozambique, and it's just God made things happen that we could never have done. And so, again, I want to thank you for your prayers. Here's just one example of what's going on, and there's many. I wish so bad I had more time to tell you a lot more about others that have just begun the same thing he's doing. This is Andasani, and he was probably baptized about 2 years ago after studying somewhat for 2 years. And I teach this course called Let God Speak. It used to be Let the Bible Speak, and I've written a new edition, which is called Let God Speak. And it's going so well, so blessed. And Andasani goes from one place to another and preaches and preaches and preaches this course mostly wherever he goes. I was there in last year. He allowed us to come and teach this course, and they didn't really have a location, but we did it in his home. It's not a very big home. It's just an adobe house, a homemade house, and it's just, it's not very big. We could fit about 18 people in this main room, I guess his dining room, living room, etc. And we filled that up, and then there's another kind of a hallway going back to the other direction where they sat, and it was miserably hot the entire time, and I sweat all the time anyway. They built their own building, and I was very pleased. They asked me if I could help buy the tin to put on the roof, and that's what I did. And so I spent $255 to buy some tin, and that church is growing well, doing well. You can see it's not a very fancy building. It is air conditioned. You can see right through it there. You can see from all the way to the other side. And but that's where they meet, and they haven't had a single complaint. I know y'all are moving to a new building. This is their new building. And it's, like I said, it's air conditioned. And yeah, it's just about as hot there as it is here. So only a whole lot more humid. So just beautiful people. And this is the third church now that Andasani has planted. And he's just doing great. It's brand new, and he teaches there several times every week, as well as in his hometown. Actually, his hometown is Lishinga, and he's planted a church there, then moved to, now I've forgotten the name of the town right there, Kuamba. And so he's planted 3 churches now in the last 2 years that he's been a Christian, and he's just doing so good. And it's such an encouragement to talk about people like this, because we can tell this story over and over. with different people. He's a former Pentecostal preacher, and I gave him a very used computer and a very, very used projector. And he carries this with him everywhere he goes, and he's got that wrapped up in a cardboard box. And he just keeps sending me pretty much every single day. Here are the people I taught today. Here are the people I taught today. And he just keeps on doing the same thing, and he just doesn't stop. When he was converted, it took 3 times through the course, literally, before he was really converted. And he was baptized, and he just immediately started baptizing all the people that he had been working with in his Pentecostal church. And wow. So he just every day keeps on sending me new pictures. He's given away a lot of the solar players and micro SD cards, and they put those in their cell phone. It's interesting how they don't have any money, but they do have a cell phone, and they know more about WhatsApp than most all of us. WhatsApp? Well, WhatsApp is the way to communicate in the rest of the world, outside of USA, generally speaking. Us who are connected to foreign people know everything about WhatsApp because that's just the way to communicate in the world. And so he continually teaches and hands out solar players to new converts. I went to Brazil this year, spent just over a month, and God blessed, and it was so encouraging to us. We first went to the city, I guess, of Itapetinga. I think it's, well, I better not say, at least 500,000. I'm confident that it's quite a bit more than that. And Itapetinga is way out in the state of Bahia, where we had worked in Brazil, but it's a long way. Bahia is a huge state, kind of like Texas. And so we got to work there. The attendance was good. I was pleased. For a Brazilian attendance, it was good. We did lots of advertising and handing out invitations everywhere and so forth. If you can see that man in the yellowish brownish shirt, his name is Idalicio, and I worked together with him in Salvador, Brazil, when we lived there. He is a missionary's missionary, and I really mean it. He started the church in Ichinga, right near Salvador, and that church has been planning another new church every year. And wow. The receptivity of northern Brazil is a little bit more receptive than here in the U.S. In the South, it's the same as here. The receptivity level is the same. But in northern Brazil, it's a little bit higher. We always give out these certificates because they love certificates, and they enjoy getting these and pinning them up on their wall. We did have 2 baptisms at that campaign, and it was so good. We had Gildalia is the way you pronounce that, and Elamuel. They actually put 2 names together for this young man. But anyway, this was the people that came to the baptism afoot. It was about a quarter of a mile in the dark after the class ended at 9 o'clock, and we then went down to the baptistry and baptized those 2. Then we went to a town called Portão, which is part of Ichinga, where Idalicio is from. And this is a new church plant of the church in Ichinga, where Idalicio had worked. And he planted the church, but he also trained and equipped the church to plant new churches, and that's what they've done ever since. Idalicio's been gone for 20 years from there, but they still follow in his footsteps, and super evangelistic, and So this was a church plant campaign, and I was so excited to have been invited to it. Before we arrived, they had sent out a group of people to canvass the entire community. And, when I used to live there, this Porton was, not much of a place at all. A very, very poor town. But now the avenue, freeway, maybe I would call it, is just completely covered with big, nice businesses and very different than when we lived there 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 40 years ago. Yeah. So we did have a good number of members when they plant a new church. Then, a third of that main congregation moves. And so we're so glad for that. The attendance was good, very encouraging, but the attendance of guests, just like in the U.S., was very low. And but we're so glad that they loved the teaching and preaching and were there faithfully every night. Then I went to what's called Enoch, which is the National Encounter of Christian Workers in Brazil. It's nationwide, and so this is the reason I go in April, because I want to be able to share about WBS and share about the solar player as well, and distribute solar players among these people. About 280 evangelists. There was lots of joy when people were given their solar players, as well as the micro SD cards. And there's a lot on there. The entire Let the Bible Speak course in Portuguese, in video, audio, PDF, all right there. So they're well equipped, plus about 30 courses from SIBI in Portuguese. Can you imagine? Ed Horton's courses and all it, they're on there, all in Portuguese. The third last campaign that we went to in Brazil was in the state of Sao Paulo, and as I'd mentioned, they're not very receptive, but the church there is very strong and growing. It's amazing. There's no Church of Christ sign there. There is a sign that says School of the Bible. And that's interesting, because that's exactly the way we had been taught this mission strategy of opening a school of the Bible and inviting people to study. And that's what they do as well. And the church is incredibly loving and kind, and we absolutely loved it. This picture is the church there, and then this is the group that met every evening for 9 days. And we studied this course, Let God Speak, and it was really exciting. They are incredibly loving. Well, let me just say it this way. Paul said, as well as Peter, greet one another with a holy kiss. Well, we don't do that in Texas, but they do in Brazil. And it's one of those culture things that you have to learn. And for a country boy like me, that's pretty hard to learn. But when you learn it, it is incredible. Can you just imagine a guest coming in and hearing people say, I love you, and hugging and kissing one another? It doesn't feel right for us Texans, but that was the norm in Jesus's day. I mean, how did Judas Iscariot greet Jesus? Wasn't it with a kiss? That was normal for them. And so it's very different, but here is a very dear sister, elderly, not very healthy. She never learned how to read, and she's getting a solar player. And so, of course, that's a huge treasure for her, so she can listen to all of these studies. I love this other brother, Jose, on the right, who was in the Universal Kingdom of God Church, which is really close to being one of the fastest growing churches in the world even today. And he was a servant of the Bishop Eddie Macedo, who, by the way, lives in New York now. But yeah, I just fell in love with this brother. I've been working on the course, Let God Speak, Let God Speak in Portuguese. It's all finished, and we've already printed 39,000 times 2 copies of two of these booklets for a prison ministry there in São João da Boa Vista in São Paulo. And really excited about the progress of the course, because we didn't really try to start this like the rest of World Bible School operates, because we have so much incredibly high expenses for postal services. It's just too expensive, and Brazilians just will not pay for it to send back their next copy. We tried early on in 2018 and printed these courses, but it didn't work out. Also was asked by the president of World Bible School, Brian Davis, if I would please get this in English, and I've gotten it all done except doing the final copy of the fifth lesson, and so that's going super well also. This is Daniel Amaro. He is the coordinator of Brazil social services, the services of the WBS. He operates all of Brazil. He does more work than a whole bunch of people, actually. So he does all of the user help for everyone who has a question about World Bible School online and everything else. He also recruits study helpers for all of the Portuguese lessons to be graded and returned, and he teaches thousands of people. Some of you are familiar with World Bible School. In the Portuguese language, we do it very differently. It's not like the system you've learned, and so we do a lot of different things. Here's one of the people that Daniel converted recently by his studies in the state of Minas Gerais. At the same time, I have a very close friend, Idalicio's younger brother. His name is Luizinho, in the white shirt in the middle, and he is the director of our Online Bible Institute. And he went with me to São Paulo, the ENOC, and he was one of our speakers together with Idalicio. And he went to another city in the state of São Paulo called Osasco, and they had a great campaign there as well, handing out certificates and handing out micro SD cards and solar players and so forth. I don't know where you are in your spiritual journey, but if you remember in the story of the prodigal son, we see the father standing on his porch. That's the way I imagine it in my head anyway, and looking for his son, hoping his son will come home, and thinking, maybe today, maybe he's going to return today. And the reality is he's still there. He's still standing there waiting and looking and wondering, when is my son or daughter coming home? Today? Maybe today? And he's still calling to that prodigal. Maybe you. And he's anxious because he wants desperately to have that relationship with you. And so I'm not really sure where you are, but I do know God is begging, please come home. Please come home. Well, he hasn't stopped. And he uses my mouth to tell that story, and he uses your mouth to tell that story. Please come home. Please come back. All the while, he's calling your name or my name and saying, please, please come home. As you know well, there is nothing that compares with the importance of your salvation, my salvation. And so God continues, please fully surrender and come home. Maybe you need to be baptized tonight. I don't really know where you are spiritually, but there he is still calling. It's time to come home right now while we stand and sing.